Yeah, you know, much better performance, a lot better than the previous Saturday against Southampton. We showed more fight, more desire in both defending and attacking. Let's talk a bit about defending. I mean, it was more compact, so every time Stoke got forward, we were closing down, and even our attacking play. Okay, there was no end product, which was a bit worrying, but there was a lot of decent passes, decent crosses in the box. There was just no one to head them in, but it was fast, it was expansive, and it was 10 times better, like I said, than against Southampton.
I think it's the game where we can try and get ourselves points. Chelsea look as if they're struggling a little bit. I know there's been a lot of talk about Conte's future. They've got injuries, Christensen, Morata, Giroud's not 100% fit either, so it's a chance for us to pick up some points. From what I've seen from Gracia so far, I think there are a lot of positives. De La Feo looked brilliant. I think he was one of our standout players on on Wednesday night, and also I think someone like Karnesis as well. He's putting in some solid shifts as well. He doesn't look as if he's been massively troubled yet, but he pulled off a great save. A couple of very good saves. One notably from Shaqiri from a defensive error as well. So. Plenty of reasons to be positive going into tomorrow night's game.
If we don't take our chances against a team like Chelsea, they'll just rip us apart because they take their chances. So we need to make sure we take our chances, and we need to close down, because we saw when we played them away, like Pedro, Willian, they're very, very pacey. So we need to put like two defenders on them. So I mean, there's still a few injuries, but I think if we set up well and play to our full potential, I think we'll be all right.
I think confident would be the wrong sort of word. I'm not confident, if you know what I mean, but I feel like he'll know how to set up a team against a good attacking side like Chelsea. They got quick players in like Pedro, Willian, Eden Hazard obviously, but you see what he did at Malaga when they played teams like Barcelona and Real Madrid. He knows how to set up against the big teams to not concede. I mean, I'll eat my words then tomorrow if Chelsea go on to win like 3-0 or something, but I feel like if we start well and our defence doesn't lose their heads, then the more the game goes on, I'd like to disagree with Shane's point, because I think the more the game goes on, it stays 0-0. I think the more Watford are in this, because I think if we score early, that'll provoke a Chelsea reaction, we'll lose. But I think the longer we can keep it at 0-0, maybe chuck on two strikers right at the end and see what happens there, almost like against Arsenal.
I'm not sure what kind of formation we'll play. I imagine we'll probably start with one up top. Two up top might be slightly risky. I think it might be the kind of game where we start someone like Gray and bring Troy on, possibly, or vice versa to that as well. I think Andres looked very lively when he came on against Stoke. And the fact that he was lively, I think there was a lot of good link-up play with him and Troy. Very unlucky to not score. I think Abdoulaye Doucouré was unlucky to not score in that in the Stoke game. So there are plenty of options as well, despite some of the injury problems that we have had. My worry, as I've kept saying, is defensively, because I just think if Chelsea get into some sort of a groove, if they get into their rhythm, they can make certain defenders in our team actually quite worried. I think Ziegler, I look at a left back, Holebas, whoever's in the left back position, I think that's a real weak spot. I think Chelsea will target that.
They lost to Bournemouth, but I mean, they're going to come back fighting, because Conte is not a man to just let go. So if he loses one game, he'll definitely try and win the next. So I mean, they're going to come attacking, and they're defensively good as well. I mean, like I said, they always take their chances every time they go forward. So that's what I think they'll do, and they'll look at how we play and stuff, and they'll look at Javi Gracia's tactics, and they'll look at that, and they'll figure out how we play and stuff. So I think they'll come in strong, especially after 3-0 loss to Bournemouth. Conte is not happy after watching this press conference, so I definitely think that they'll come back fighting, but we need to make sure that doesn't work against us, you know.
I saw their game midweek against Bournemouth. They looked absolutely dreadful, I thought. Hazard can't play in the false 9 position. The positive for them, though, is despite having the likes of Morata out, they've got players like Willian coming back in again, and you know the kind of danger that he is. From a Watford perspective, it's glad to see Michy Batshuayi is not going to be there, because he's been a real thorn in our side. I think he scored 3 times in the last 2 games, I think, against us. So Morata was very ineffective at Stamford Bridge, but he's going to be out. So Chelsea are kind of, I think they're kind of scrambling a little bit for attacking numbers. I expect Hazard to start, but there's always a danger with Chelsea. Whenever they perform badly, their fans will expect a reaction, and I think the players will give Conte a reaction as well, and we need to be aware of that. I think defensively, as I say, Christensen's out. Gary Cahill hasn't looked as solid as he usually would be in previous seasons.
Very, very important. I mean, it's Chelsea, so I would say I'm not going to be over angry, but I don't know. I mean, if it was like we were so many points clear off relegation, then I would have that. But I don't know. I mean, I would like to see, because Javi Gracia done 10 times, like I keep saying, improvement from his first game. So he might do doubly more in this game. So it's very, very important, because the other teams won around us as well. Okay, I think Stoke lost, but then Southampton won. So it's really tight down there. So those 3 points could get us up to 30 points now if we win, and that could lead us on forward. But it's very, very important. But who knows what's happened? And they're not okay. They lost to Bournemouth, but still they're very strong opposition. So I mean, I'm not going to be over angry, but it's more about the performance as well. Like I said, if we get the end product, we'll be fine. It's all about the end product.
Obviously, like, if we lose tomorrow, people will be worried about that, but I feel like, look at the fixtures other teams have. I know Southampton have a very treacherous run in. We've still got to play Arsenal, Liverpool, but I feel like we could get something against Arsenal, kind of like tomorrow. But West Ham on Saturday, that's the one I think the players should be looking to use this to the kind of like motivate themselves for, because let's be honest, that's a 6-pointer. If we lose that could change the course of our season massively.
I think it'll be an interesting game. As I've said in so many of my previews before, and so many fan cams, it's about how we start matches here at the Vic, especially here at the Vic, you know. At the end of the day, you can say taking points away from home, it's good. But here we need to start well. We have to start well here. A slow start that we've had, games I'm thinking of like Southampton, Huddersfield, we've given the opposition an advantage. Sometimes even given them a man advantage in some of those matches. But more importantly, we've just given them too much respect. Southampton raced into a 2-0 lead here. You know, we had absolutely no answers to any of the problems that they were posing.
I don't know, to be honest. Obviously, I'm not a massive fan of Capoue, but I think right now him, Cleverley and Decore in the middle would be totally fine for me. If I was going to have two up front, I would take Capoue out of that midfield three. But then I guess Deulofeu had a great debut, in my opinion. I feel like he's a much better option than Carrillo. So I'd have Richarlison and Deulofeu on the wings. Fullbacks, I mean, would you want to bring in Daryl Janmaat for Adrian Mariappa? I don't know. I think Mariappa does such a solid job defensively that he might be able just to deal with the wingers better than Janmaat would, because I feel like Janmaat's more of a right mid than a right back, to be honest.
The next set of matches, West Ham away, is crucial. Another 6-pointer, I would say, a bit like the Stoke game. And then the two home games back to back, which I think could be a pivotal moment in our season. So I'm confident in trying to get a result tomorrow.